How can we encourage your child to articulate and express themselves in English language and write beautifully? This is a question that many parents often ask me. You know, they come to me with many challenges with their children not really being able to articulate themselves very well on paper. You know, in English, there's always tasks that require students to be able to showcase the vocabulary in a way that is expressive. So in this example, I'm going to show you one of our students who was really behind in English, and we taught her how to plan a story, how to really overload her writing with some good vocabulary as well. So we went through the planning process, and this is what it looks like. So lots of good vocabulary, started to build from there, started to use sentence starters to really open a sentence as opposed to just starting with I or he or leading with the subject. And just following a simple few steps, she started to write amazingly, you know, using really high level words for a 9-year-old, like instantaneously, deafening, words like that, sorrow, overloading words like abstract nouns, high level adjectives, and so on. We also went through things like passive and active ways of expression, formal and informal language, really identifying the differences and some of the features of a very high-level piece of writing. We started to also incorporate literal tools such as personifications, metaphors, similes, to really showcase and demonstrate her ability to write in a more expressive way. And after just a couple of lessons, she started to write way beyond her the national average. In fact, it was so good that I think that even way beyond the GCSE expectations, and even some adults probably won't be able to even write like this. So this is just an extract of her work, one of her reports. She wrote, according to the Office for National Statistics, productivity growth in the UK has stalled since 2019. Although the nature of work has changed from a decade ago, the work ethics is now perceived as as having strong morals, positive attitudes, and having a good relationship with the people we work with. So, you know, you can just really feel the difference in tonality and maturity and sophistication in her writing in just a couple of a few lessons. And the way we usually give feedback, just on a mindset level, and encouraging and edifying the student, we usually start with a praise, and actually acknowledging hard work. Then we go into the critique, so things that she can do to improve, and then overall just a word of encouragement, really. So it's the format we usually follow is praise, critique, praise. So even though this student was actually only 9 years old at the time, we started to really dive into different types of writing. So not only story writing, she got to a level where she's now writing essays, so answering really controversial topics, questions that really get the mind ticking. And she's able to really demonstrate and justify her opinions and argument very strongly in a very assertive way, which is very impressive of a student of this age. We also usually give lots of scores at the end, just to give her an overall understanding of her strengths and any areas of improvement as well. So here are just some examples of some of the topics that she came up with, some essay questions. So should children be allowed to play out until a lot later? Should children be allowed to go to school without uniform? So part of the arrangement with tuition is that we have a timetable to encourage accountability. When we plan ahead and we know what we intend to do, we are more likely to get results. So we track results by looking at the progress, we look at scores, we look at any areas of weaknesses. We keep the student accountable by looking at this a general schedule. So part of having tuition is the tutor usually writes reports for each lesson to be sent to the parent. So here's just a brief example of a report that we have for one of our tutees. And finally, just for a bit of fun, sometimes our students really enjoy, doing an illustration as part of their homework with a story associated with it. This really helps them to really visualize their story and, express themselves in such a way. So we really encourage children to really enjoy, the process of not only writing but also just the education process